The Prime Minister sends in the army to help fight the wildfires. 100 personnel will now support firefighters as they work flat out to control numerous fires.
We're very grateful to our colleagues in the Ministry of Defence for that. That support is critically needed.
Searching for seagrass, we're with the scientists, hoping to find signs of a comeback for this vital marine habitat.
And a celebration of food and culture. I'm with the Igbo community in Cardiff as they prepare for their annual Harvest Festival.
Hello, good evening. The military is being deployed to Wales to help battle the ferocious wildfires devastating huge parts of the country. Prime Minister Andy Burnham made the announcement this afternoon. He said initially 100 personnel will be sent to South Wales, the whole region considered a major incident. Well, our reporters are standing by in two of the areas badly affected in recent days to bring us the very latest. First, let's cross to Hamish Ausgerry in Ferndale. Hamish, significant developments tonight with that news that the army is being sent in.
Well, John, this is just another indication of how serious the situation is. Remember, the major incident here in Ferndale was declared nearly 2 weeks ago. That was on a fire on the other side of the valley. It's moved over to here, and there appears to be just no let-up at all. We've seen the fire here that started last night move nearer to people's homes, and we can show you pictures now of the fire engulfing trees, with the fire service and residents here dampening their own homes and gardens. The fire service has been under immense pressure, as we've been talking about night after night on this programme, given the lack of rain. Yesterday they were dealing with 30 wildfires in South Wales alone, and that's what's led to this request for military assistance and additional support, in line, they say, with approved escalation protocols. And it was announced by the Prime Minister Andy Burnham earlier on today on a visit to the West Midlands, who've had their own devastating wildfires which have devastated homes and led to people going to hospital.
We have seen the military deploy 100 personnel initially to the major incident in South Wales, and we're very grateful to our colleagues in the Ministry of Defence for that. That support is critically needed. We have a system of mutual aid in play at the moment where fire and rescue services are supporting each other, but with so many incidents it is crucial that the military support is there if fire and rescue services can't do the same backup that they would normally be doing. So that is hugely appreciated.
So, Hamish, this is now becoming a UK-wide response to these fires here in Wales.
Well, John, it's funny you say that. That's already happening. The fire truck you can see behind me is from Gloucestershire Fire and Rescue Service. They've been supporting colleagues here in Wales to tackle the fire. You know, if in this area the steepness of the streets are legendary, but I can tell you earlier on this afternoon when the fire was burning at the top of this mountain, moving nearer to people's homes, you feel incredibly vulnerable, and that's how residents have described themselves feeling. It's been a calm day, and all you've really been able to hear was the sound of pumps and of the trees burning. Another man today who I spoke to described seeing the helicopter dropping water on the trees behind his home as a kind of apocalyptic scene. Another man stayed up all night to keep his house and garden wet. The fire service say all of their personnel at every level have been working around the clock, and that this support is a sensible and precautionary step to give additional support capacity, to strengthen resilience and to ensure they can continue to protect the public. There might be some relief for firefighters here in the coming days, because Andy Burnham today has announced a temporary ban on disposable barbecues being sold in shops. That's thought to have contributed to several fires across the UK in recent days. The fire service has reiterated to all of us to avoid any activities that may contribute to new fire starting, and if you see one, please call 999. OK, Hamish Ausgerry, thank you very much indeed. And now to Lewis Rhys-Jones in near Llandovery. And Lewis, some residents evacuated there today. A really worrying time for them.
It's been 48 hours of pure anxiety for the residents here, John. After all, it's one thing to see fire developing above, in the woodlands, but to see it creeping up closer and closer to your house is truly terrifying. You can see the ground here. It's truly black and char-grilled. And actually, I'm smelling quite a bit of smoke at the moment, and that the wind is picking up now. I'm seeing a bit more smoke than we did half an hour ago, but this has covered 250 hectares of land. That's the equivalent to 350 football pitches. And as ever, there's a community here still in shock. Sights like this have become frighteningly common. This destroyed woodland just above the village of Llandirmwyn has been burning for 2 days straight. The smoke and flames, while now under control, came within touching distance of many locals' houses.
When it came through into the field next to us and touched the grass and just went shoo, and it was coming closer. I mean, by which time the fire crew were up and they had their hoses and they were just getting to it at that point. But you're just looking at it and you just, I mean, yeah. I think about it now and it was like watching a film. I can't believe that happened. And it was coming towards us.
It had just erupted and it was just shooting right up into the sky. So I called my husband to come and have a look, and from there it just took off. It just went, well, like wildfire. And then the police obviously came out and the fire engines and whatever and started. But for that whole day, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Then we'd see little pockets spring up here, little pockets spring up there. But it was right behind the pub as well. It was feet from the pub.
Well, you might be able to make out that the smoke is under control. You can't see much of it now, and conditions are cooler here today with cloud as well. So that is helping the crews that are still working hard here at the moment. The road is closed in Llandirmwyn, but that pub over my shoulder has been the centre point of all activity in the village in the past 48 hours or so. They've been feeding the crews who are working arduously, but also taking in a few of the residents who have been told to evacuate. They're just waiting to hear when they can go home. Staff from all three of Wales's fire and rescue services have been overwhelmed by various call-outs to tackle wildfires up and down the country, with many travelling out of their respective patches to help colleagues in other areas like South and Mid Wales. Back in Carmarthenshire, the residents are giving their thanks to the emergency services and locals who have worked tirelessly to tackle the blaze.
The farmers are still out there today. They're up on top of the mountain. I think they're moving more sheep because it's still going on up there. It's quieter down here, which is a massive relief because this is where all the houses are. But it's still going on up there and the farmers are still out there. It wouldn't be this calm today if the community hadn't all come to help us. So it's diolch o galon.
It's been a frightening ordeal for this close-knit community, but there's a relief that no homes were destroyed in this latest major incident. I think in the pictures there that things have calmed down in West Wales somewhat, but, you know, there's still a risk if the wind picks up or goes in the wrong direction. You know, the fire crews are on standby, and Mid and West Wales Fire and Rescue have told us today that, you know, several residents are still evacuated as a precaution because of the proximity of these fires. Speaking to one of the ladies that has been evacuated, she doesn't know when she'll be allowed back home yet. You can probably make out that there's a house near these woods, and they had quite a task on their hands just 2 days ago. So there are, you know, rest centres set up. The pub in the village is one of them, but also in Llandyfri, the leisure centre has been set up by Carmarthenshire County Council to, you know, support residents that need that extra help. But as ever, tonight we're closely monitoring the situation, John, but they're still on standby, making sure that the fire doesn't, you know, take off again.
OK, Lewis Rhys-Jones in Llandirmwyn, near Llandyfri, thanks very much indeed. Detectives investigating the death of a man following reports of violent disorder in Pontypool earlier this month have arrested a 40-year-old man on suspicion of murder. 56-year-old Anthony Tony Jones from Brecon died in hospital from his injuries. Gwent police have already arrested 25 men aged between 18 and 73 in connection with the disorder. Preparations are underway in Swansea for a celebration of Bonnie Tyler's life. The iconic singer died at the age of 75. Tomorrow, her family have invited members of the public to line the streets of Mumbles as her coffin is driven to the family home. On Monday, after a service in Swansea city centre, the funeral cortege will make its way to her birthplace of Skewin. A woman has been cleared of owning an XL bully dog that bit her partner's father before he bled to death. Chanel Fong was accused of owning the out-of-control dog and another charge of being the person in charge of the animal at the time of the attack. But she was found not guilty at Caernarfon Crown Court, from where Rob Shelley has sent us this report.
It's 4 years since 62-year-old Kevin Jones was bitten so severely by an XL bully in the back garden of a Wrexham house that he ended up bleeding to death. But today, here at Caernarfon Crown Court, Chanel Fong, who was charged with 2 counts under the Dangerous Dogs Act of 1981, was found not guilty. She pleaded not guilty. It took the jury less than 3 hours to find her not guilty. You have to rewind, though, to May 2022, because Kevin Jones was visiting his son's house, which his son shared with his partner Chanel Fong. She was present in the house at the time. Very, very simple thing, utterly mundane, which turned into catastrophe. He asked if he should get 2 of the dogs from the garden into the house. She said yes. He left for the garden, and then something happened to make an XL bully called Cookie attack Mr. Jones. He was bitten so severely in one of those bites that it almost broke a major artery. He was also on medication that included blood thinners, which obviously exacerbated that situation. But at the time, May 2022, even though XL bullies had been in the news, they weren't actually a prescribed breed. They weren't banned by the UK government at the time. It was still perfectly legal to own one. The case today, and for the past 2 days here at Caernarfon, has been centred entirely on the question of responsibility. Now, the defence argued in their summing up today that an awful lot of the prosecution's case was seen with the benefit of hindsight. Rebecca Folletti for the defence said, just because the situation ended in an awful tragedy, it doesn't end in Chanel Fong being criminally responsible. After 2 days' worth of evidence and half a morning's worth of summation, the jury agreed with the defence that essentially there was no case to answer. Miss Fong wept as the verdict was read out. She was told she leaves court without a stain on her character. Friends and family in the public gallery thanked the jury. Rob Shelley, ITV News, Caernarfon Crown Court.
Well, there's plenty still to come this evening on the programme. Ruth, how is the weekend looking?
Well, bit of good news for those of us who've had more than enough of the heat. It is very good news, but no real sign of any proper rain coming anytime soon. Maybe a rain dance would work, and Mary Claire, it looks like you might be able to help us out on this one.
I'm not sure about that one, but join me later in the programme when I'll be finding out about the annual Ibu Festival.
Now, while we feel the impact of the hot weather living here on land, the high temperatures are also affecting life in the seas. Researchers say a marine heatwave's disrupted seagrass restoration efforts in North Wales. Scientists planted more than 1 million seeds across 2 bays, but while growth was good in Holyhead Bay, it failed in Tremadog Bay. They say extreme sea temperatures were a key factor. Rhys Williams reports.
It's one of our best allies in the fight against climate change and habitat loss. But the UK has lost up to 92% of its seagrass meadows over the last century. And what grows out of sight beneath the water plays a vital role above it.
So this is part of a project called Seagrass to Rescue Wales.
Here on the Llŷn Peninsula in northwest Wales, these Swansea University scientists and local volunteers are trying to turn things around, harvesting seeds from this seagrass meadow to plant elsewhere.
We've been able to kind of bring people out and get them kind of hands-on with active conservation, so the seed picking, and then the seeds that we pick here in the summer, we then go out to plant them in different locations. And again, the volunteers and the communities can be part of that as well.
Remarkably, seagrass captures carbon up to 35 times faster than tropical rainforests, and meadows like this one can protect the coast from erosion. Teams of scientists and volunteers have been collecting seeds here throughout the summer, and the hope is that from various sites over Wales they'll have around 1 million that'll be planted next spring. But climate change is already making that job more difficult. Seeds from Portyn Llaen were planted at nearby Traeth Crigan, but when marine biologists returned to check on their growth, they were stunned.
We came down to the beach and sort of planned this big monitoring programme, and then we found nothing at all. I think we found a single shoot sort of just towards that buoy, and that was it. It was just bare sand.
How many seeds did you plant?
Over 500,000 seeds were planted into this bay.
Half a million by hand.
The seeds were really healthy. Everything was going in a really positive direction.
After several months of investigation, the cause was discovered: a rapid marine heatwave.
It was an increase of 3.5 degrees over sort of 5 or 6 days, which in marine terms is unprecedented. And when you've got a tiny little seagrass shoot, can prove quite deleterious.
Previously a rare event, biologists are concerned that an increase in intense marine heatwaves could threaten projects like this one. But this experience has also led to improvements. A second, more resilient site for planting has been discovered, and more volunteers are helping.
I mean, anything that feels like you can lend a hand and be a part of efforts to combat that, to restore places. You know, personally, I find that really, really rewarding.
Because we live locally, actually getting in the water and helping with it, because I think you feel grateful to have the habitat locally, but if you don't help, it doesn't stay, I guess.
A changing climate may be making the job harder, but the effort to bring back Britain's underwater meadows is only becoming more urgent. Rhys Williams, ITV News, on the Llŷn Peninsula.
It is 16 minutes past 6. A reminder of tonight's top story. Military aid is being deployed in South Wales to help tackle the devastating wildfires. It comes after a UK government Cobra meeting 2 days ago. Prime Minister Andy Burnham says 100 army personnel will be sent to the major incident. South Wales Fire and Rescue Service have welcomed the support.
We have seen the military deploy 100 personnel initially to the major incident in South Wales, and we're very grateful to our colleagues in the Ministry of Defence for that. That support is critically needed. We have a system of mutual aid in play at the moment where fire and rescue services are supporting each other, but with so many incidents it is crucial that the military support is there if fire and rescue services can't do the same backup that they would normally be doing. So that is hugely appreciated.
They're up on top of the mountain. I think they're moving more sheep because it's still going on up there. It's quieter down here, which is a massive relief because this is where all the houses are, but it's still going on up there.
And it was coming closer. I mean, by which time the fire crew up and they had their hoses and they were just getting to it at that point. But you're just looking at it and you just, I mean, yeah. I think about it now and it was like watching a film.
Well, the Football League season gets underway this weekend, believe it or not, and once again, Wales has 4 teams competing across the Championship and League Two. And our sports reporter, Matt Southcombe, joins us now. Matt, it's an intriguing season ahead for Welsh football.
Yes, absolutely is, John. And we'll stick with the Championship because for the first time in 45 years, Cardiff City, Swansea City and Wrexham will all compete together in the second tier of the Football League. That's thanks to Cardiff City's promotion back into the Championship last season. And we'll begin our look ahead to the new season with the Bluebirds. They've made just 2 permanent signings this summer, and it will be interesting to see how Brian Barry Murphy's side cope with the step back up to the Championship after what was a brilliant season last year in League One. But their lack of signings this summer has led to some to fear that a tough season could lie ahead.
Our feeling is that we can surprise a lot of people. You know, we're not naive. We saw a lot of predictions this week which put us in the bottom 2 or bottom 3. So we're under no illusions about how difficult the season's going to be, but the size of the challenge improves the size of our excitement, and the bigger the challenge, the more we look forward to it. So it's no problem for us to have predictions like that, but we'll be looking to prove them wrong.
Bit of fighting talk there from Brian Barry Murphy. And for Swansea, the priority of this summer has been keeping hold of Van Zipotnik. The striker netted 24 goals last season to end the campaign as the top scorer in the Championship. The Swans recently rejected a bid from Hull City and will hope that he can help them improve on last year's 11th place finish.
I think we need to focus on the quality of our game. We need to focus on going to play against every opposition in the way we want. And then it's about the next game, because The season is quite long. There's a lot of changes during the season, like we all saw last season. Being emotional stable is quite important. Understanding the moment is quite important. So the answer is that what we need to focus is on the next game, and that's the mentality I want here.
And Wrexham, of course, finished higher than all the other Welsh sides last season, finishing in 7th place in the Championship, missing out on a playoff spot by just 2 points, an agonising end to the season last year. They too have had a relatively quiet transfer window, and manager Phil Parkinson is hopeful of more signings in the coming weeks to help their push for promotion to the Premier League.
It's going to be competitive as ever, and we've got to make sure the squad is capable of dealing with the rigours of a championship season. So we've got kind of some big decisions to make, as always, and we'll hopefully by the end of this transfer window we'll have the squad numbers-wise where we want it, but also strength and quality. And we're working extremely hard to achieve that.
Matt, turning to rugby, the season still a few weeks ahead, but it seems that Welsh rugby is trapped in this perpetual state of crisis.
Well, absolutely. Even though it's the off-season, it still continues off the field. That's right, John. And today, a legend of the game, Jonathan Davies, has joined calls for the board of the Welsh Rugby Union to resign. The former fly half's comments come as the union remains committed to its vision of reducing the number of professional teams in Wales, with the Scarlets and the Ospreys currently in a fight for survival.
This board has been in place for 3 years and it's failed to deliver. So it's now time for them to have a look at themselves and decide whether it's time for them to step aside and leave, someone else come in and take over an interim board to settle the ship and to pick a board fit for purpose. The economy and the game in Wales is like suffering from it.
So there we have it then, John. Tough times still in Welsh rugby, but the seasons have come around very quickly once again. Plenty to keep an eye on.
Where does the time go, Matt? Thanks very much indeed. Let's get a reminder now of the what's coming up after this programme.
Coming up in the ITV Evening News, the Prime Minister orders a temporary ban on disposable barbecues as he sees for himself the impact of devastating fires in the West Midlands. Victory for Nigel Farage in the Clacton by-election, but now the investigation into his finances resumes. And the new efforts to save the great British boozer. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Well, next tonight we head to celebrations in Cardiff's Igbo community. At this time of year, hundreds come together to mark the end of the farming season in Nigeria and the safe harvest of yams, one of the country's most staple crops. Well, Marie-Claire Kerry-Jones is there. Marie-Claire, a big tradition this.
That's right, John. I'm in inner city Cardiff, but this is a big celebration, essentially, of farming. As you can see, preparations are well underway here for the annual Harvest Festival of the Igbo Nigerian community here who've made the Welsh capital their home. And as you can see, this isn't just a celebration of food. This is also a feast for the eyes and for the ears with this dancing and this music. Now, let's find out a little bit more about what it's all about. I can talk to Dee, one of the organisers. Dee, lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too.
First of all, Dee, tell me a little bit about this traditional dance and the traditional costumes we're seeing.
Okay, so the Iriji Festival is a joyous occasion. So it's usually heralded by the women and the children dancing. So you can see we're colourful people, it's all vibrant colours, and the traditional attire is the Isiago. So what that entails is that it's about the bravery of the people, the culture. So it's all about vibrancy and colours, and just the joy on their face just showcases what the festival is about.
And is the Nigerian community big here in Wales?
Oh yes, and it's growing every day. It's not just the Igbos, but as well the Arawas, the Yoruba. So it's really growing every day.
Now, as we said, this is a harvest festival,
yes.
And particularly you're celebrating yams, which we've got in front of us here. For people who don't know, tell us a little bit, first of all, about what a yam is. Is it a bit like a potato?
It's a bit like potato, potato to you, yam to us. It's a tuber, it's a tube vegetable. But the thing is, it symbolises wealth. So we're predominantly farmers in the years gone. So the wealth of a man is measured by the number of tubers in his barn. So that is why it's such a joyous occasion, because the more you bring in, the wealthier you are, and the more people are fed.
Now, talk about the men. We've got some of the men from your community in their fabulous outfits here, and they're integral to this festival.
Yes, they are, because even though I'm the chairperson, I'm a woman, I can't host the occasion. So it's predominantly done by men. So the elders in the community, an elder like you've seen him there here today, will be the one to cut the yam once it's roasted, and once it's eaten it tells everybody it's now time for you to eat it. But the women usher it in with great lovely dancing like you've seen today.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a wonderful event here on Sunday. Thank you for welcoming us today, and I know you're welcoming others here, so if you're in the area, come along on Sunday. It promises to be an extravaganza.
Mary-Claire Carey-Jones, thank you very much indeed. Well, it's weather time now. Ruth is here. Plenty of excitement there, just in time for the weekend.
Plenty of excitement here. Can I just say how lovely it is to be with you in an air-conditioned studio right now, given that we have frazzled our way through what has been an exceptional week, hasn't it? It's been thoroughly miserable, and I have to say I'm one of those. If you're not loving the heat wave, I'm with you all the way. Temperatures yesterday broke records. We've been smashing records all week, haven't we? But here in the UK as a whole, yesterday was the 5th hottest day ever recorded. Well, records began back about, well, almost 200 years ago, so it gives you some sort of flavour as to just how ridiculous it's been, although we haven't quite broken the hottest ever day ever recorded. That was at 40.3 degrees Celsius, but actually we weren't a million miles off. But as I said, over the next couple of days there is a little bit of good news. As we head into the coming weekend, we lose the extreme heat. Now, let me just clarify this. We lose the extreme, however, of course, it is still summertime, so it's not going to be cool, it's just going to be less hot. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. It will be mostly dry with sunny spells. You'll notice cloudier skies, and there is the chance that we could see a few showers cropping up across the northwest, so parts of Anglesey and the Clean Peninsula, for example, but it's not like to be what we call useful rain, so rain that has any sort of substance, and by the time it hits the ground it will just disappear because the ground is just so dry it's going to absorb everything. You can see on the bigger picture there is this area of low pressure that will edge its way in our direction, bringing perhaps those showers across the northwest, and another deep area of low that could bring some more substantial rain for next week. It's just disappeared, but in the meantime, here are the details.
Today's forecast: blue skies, followed by a spread of hot and cold plates. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Well, it's actually quite cloudy out there at the moment, with a little bit of a northerly breeze too, making it feel much fresher than it has done over recent nights. We'll see largely clear skies by the early hours of Saturday morning, but there's the chance that a few showers could just crop up through parts of Anglesey and the Clean Peninsula. But the temperatures, as I mentioned, feeling much more comfortable tonight, which means a pretty decent start then as we wake to the coming weekend. The cloud and those showers continuing across the north and the west, but nothing too heavy. As a general rule, the further south and east that you go, this is where you'll see the best of the blue sky and sunshine, but actually clouding over even here into tomorrow afternoon. But look at this, what a difference in temperature. At best, we're looking at 24, 25 across the southeast. That's quite a considerable drop on recent days. 18, 19 or 20 out towards coastal areas. We've still got high levels of UV despite that cloud. Still got a few weeks of summer left, as I said, so the sunshine is still quite strong out there, so just be careful. If you've got plans for Saturday night, again, remaining largely calm and quiet across much of Wales. But if you cast your eyes across the north of the UK, there are frontal systems that could well throw some cloud in our direction. So as you wake then to Sunday, quite a grey start to the day. But like Saturday, it's going to be a case of sunny spells. The cloud likely to linger across the north into the afternoon. But actually, even here, it will lift. But again, the temperatures, the downward trend continues. 18 or 19 out towards the west, 22 or 23 across the southeast, which is much, much fresher. But actually, round about average for the time of year. As we head through then into the outlook stretch, you can see remaining largely cool, still quite mild overnight, but there is the possibility we could see some rain soon.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on the rain, but I think some is better than none.
I thought we'd gone back to the eclipse
well, I know,
when your screen went black. Then.
Computers packed up and gone home. It is the weekend.
It's the heat.
It's the heat. I blame it all.
That's it. Mary-Claire Carey-Jones will be back with the late news after ITN. But from all of us, thanks for watching.